Jujutsu Kaisen Chapter 220 review. If you like anime content, subscribe for more. So we have a lot of changes from the Chapter 220 spoilers in the translations for this one. So elephant in the room, blindfold dad is probably coming next week. I mean, yeah, the moment Sukuna became free, Gojo becoming free next only makes sense. So we have the Great Tengen Barrier Lore Dump. That Tengen has set up purification barriers to increase the potency of other barrier techniques. And apparently crushing all of these would have shut down the Culling Games entirely at the start. But the more interesting tidbit here is that the reason she didn't do this was because destroying these barriers means erasing 1,000 years of Jujutsu practices in the endless war against curses and the know-how of barrier techniques. So Tengen sounds like from this she's responsible for a lot more than we originally thought. Kenjaku closes off entry for new players in the Culling Games. What this means for Gojo when he probably comes out next week, who knows? He might just be stuck outside the barrier. But then Kenjaku bullies Kogain into adding another rule and says when all players but Geto and Megumi Fushiguro have died, the Culling Games will come to an end. And then they head over and we see Ryomen Sukuna's original body. And Kenjaku says, oh, I'll bring it to him as a souvenir, but we all know better. This thing is not brought back in the story for no reason. And I've already made a video on that. Then we cut over to Ui talking to Maki. And they're just talking about the same rule that we just saw added by Kenjaku. But Maki says if we beat both Kenjaku and Sukuna, it will be our victory. And Ui, showing that he is like the biggest brain in this entire facility, says, yeah, but that would be almost as hard as defeating Gojo Satoru. And Ui doesn't even know about the wheel. And Maki says that very same Gojo Satoru is going to make a comeback. And we see Angel sitting goofily on a medical bench, alive. And she says, I would have died instantly if I wasn't saved. And this had me raising my eyebrow a little bit because you're a top of the line Heian era sorcerer and you're dying from getting tossed from a building. Megumi survived getting decked into 5 stories of solid concrete in Chapter 9. Are you telling me that Nu is that much of a cushion? But more importantly, they say that Angel can still use her curse technique even though she can't fight anymore. And she says, well, it looks like once my job as a plot device to release Gojo is over, I will no longer have a role. And I'm glad she got to keep her curse technique because if her arm being lost meant she couldn't use it, Jujutsu Kaisen would have officially stepped right into trash writing because we were definitely approaching stupid for a little bit there. But I had faith in Gege, they would not make Angel a completely useless character. And we also find out that Sukuna was the only sorcerer that did not need to make a binding vow with Kenjaku. And Angel says that after experiencing death once, Sukuna likely stumbled upon how to make his body into a cursed object and split his soul. So there's a lot of questions that this translation raises, is that he died once. I mean, we already knew he died once, but this makes it sound like he died more than once. She also refers to Sukuna as the Fallen here, and Yuta doesn't ask her to elaborate on this at all. Like, really, Yuta? You don't want to ask any questions? Like, hey, this is one of the 2 guys we have to kill. Can you spill some details, please? And then we have Yuji talking to Rin here. And they're having a bit of a heart-to-heart. And Rin asks why he's still fighting if Sukuna's not inside of him. That's a pretty stupid question, but Yuji answers anyways. And he says it doesn't matter. It's not like he ever helped me anyways. And this is the biggest understatement in Jujutsu Kaisen. He said that he has been soaked with the cursed energy that is Ryomen Sukuna. And he has become like a cursed object himself. And so long as he can kill him, he'll eat anything. So if it wasn't painfully obvious already, Yuji and Sukuna are going to have another confrontation eventually. And Yuji's obviously going to get stronger. I mean, he's just stacking up on cursed objects now. And from the sound of it, he ate the other death paintings. So Yuji is just on the Sukuna hunt. And we have pretty much every single protagonist character in one location, even Kashimo. And Kashimo's a strange character because I'm kind of curious how Gege is going to fit in his cursed technique fight against Ryomen Sukuna. And we have Choso give Yuji a book on the soul, written by Yuki Tsukumo. And I am happy to see the soul get directly mentioned more as we go further into the story. And this is Gege planting the seeds that the soul and having an understanding of the soul is going to play a huge role in the end of the story. Which again, that makes a lot of sense because Mahito's whole thing with Yuji was about this. And now that Sukuna is out and about and a more direct antagonist to Yuji, it's not surprising it's being brought up again. And a lot of people think that Yuji's power-up will be related to the soul, and I'm kind of leaning in that direction as well. And this is just more evidence for that at this point, or at least foreshadowing for it. And then we have Shoko reminiscing about Gojo Satoru, and the chapter ends on the prison realm saying, Gojo, come back already. So yeah, Gojo's almost certainly coming back next week. Unless we cut over to a different character or Angel just spontaneously combusts, there's really no reason he shouldn't be coming back. And it is a little strange how casual they all are just hanging out, given given the circumstances. You'd think they just have the back of the prison realm in front of Angel 24/7 right now, because really that should be their #1 priority. And there have been theories that Gojo will come out of the box and be insane, but I don't see the point in or believe in this at all. There's no point in having him go from a literal prison to a mental prison. I will say this is like the best chapter we've had in a month. The character development and writing in the Yorozu fight was getting pretty shaky, but this chapter was pretty excellent. We got some great reveals, we know where all of our characters' mental states are at, and now we really have the setup for the endgame of Jujutsu Kaisen right here. Everybody's rested and ready to go, and they're all in one spot. They're about to pop Gojo out of the box, and then they're going to formulate a plan to save Megumi and stop Kenjaku or the merger. And that's pretty much all the plot left in JJK right now. There are some minor side plots still left, but for most of the side characters, they're probably just going to get bunched together like it's a group project. I don't know if Jujutsu Kaisen is ending this year, but if Gege wants to, they definitely can, because there's really not that much major story left in here. Sukuna becoming free really put the story on a timer, and Gojo is about to come out now, and his purpose is definitely shaping up to be taking on this 10 Shadows, just absolutely monstrous Sukuna. But that's just my opinion, and I want to hear yours, so let me know what you think of this chapter below and what you think of Gojo's impending release. I'm going to be making a Yuji video very soon, so look forward to that, and if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.